worldwide news, where we navigate the powerful forces shaping our world. Today, we turn our attention to the Strait of Hormuz, and which party to the conflict is behaving as a rogue actor.
Conflict over the checkpoint where 20% of the world's oil supply passes through has caused an energy crisis. On Friday's news that the strait had reopened, U.S. crude oil prices fell nearly 10% to just over $85 a barrel. That's still about $18 more than before the war started. But it was enough to fuel a big day for investors on Wall Street. The Dow gained nearly 2% on Friday, while the S&P and the Nasdaq closed at all-time highs. But Iran's announcement today that it is reasserting control over the strait could once again send oil prices higher. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tayeb and his team got an exclusive up-close look at what is happening in this waterway at a critical moment for the world.
They say the Strait of Hormuz is open, so why are ships turning back? They say this war is under control, so why is it still going? 45 days later. Ships can pass, oil should flow, and yet tankers hesitate, insurers panic with skyrocketing premiums, and global markets flinch at every shadow of risk. Because in reality, what's open on paper can still be closed in practice. When 20% of the world's oil supply squeezes through a narrow 21-mile chokepoint, every threat feels real. And that contradiction tells a much bigger story. A story about a war that was never supposed to last this long. This was meant to be quick, decisive, a show of overwhelming force. Days, maybe a week at most. But here we are, 45 days later, and the situation looks very different. Iran is still standing, still responding with drones, proxies, and asymmetric strikes, still shaping the battlefield in ways few expected. Which raises an uncomfortable question. Was Iran underestimated? Because the longer this drags on, the harder it becomes to sell the idea of control. The United States declared strength. It deployed carriers and power. It signaled dominance across the Gulf. But power isn't just about what you launch, it's about what you achieve. And right now, the outcome is unclear. The Strait of Hormuz becomes the perfect symbol of this war. Open, but not really. Controlled, but not fully. Stable, but only on the surface. And in that uncertainty, something deeper begins to shift. Because this isn't just about military capability anymore, it's about legitimacy. For decades, the United States positioned itself as the guardian of the international order, a system built, at least in principle, on rules, norms, and the rule of law. But by initiating this conflict outside those very frameworks, without clear adherence to international law, it undermined the very foundation of its own authority.
Time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
In trying to confront what it labels as destabilizing behavior, the United States now faces a difficult reality. It is being viewed, in some quarters, through the same lens it once reserved for others. And that perception matters, because global influence is not sustained by force alone. It is sustained by credibility. This is world-tide news. If you value staying informed about the forces shaping our world, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next report. Thank you for watching.